So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second Artist Roundtable. And our roundtable tonight, the theme of it is artist evolution, pre, during, and sort of post-pandemic. And so we have a panel of artists with us tonight, and we have some discussion prompts, and we're going to have a really rich conversation about their experiences and some of the things we learned and are learning, and some of the ways that we want to move forward in our art and how this has affected us. So I just want to, first of all, welcome everybody who's on the panel. And thank you for being a part of this discussion tonight. So I'm Angela Wilson. I am the founder of the Angel Wing Project, and we're doing this roundtable in partnership with the Chesapeake Arts Center. And so I want to introduce you to Nicole Horatia, who is the artistic director of the Arts Center. And I know I didn't say your name.
It's okay. Horatia. It's all good. It's all good.
And so she's the artistic director at the Chesapeake Arts Center. So we try to partner on a lot of things. And so I'm just going to let the panel introduce themselves and tell us a little about them. Oh, let me just introduce our team members that are on here. Susan Jenkins is our administrative assistant coordinator. She kind of does some of everything. So she's on here tonight. And then Vivian is also one of our artistic personnel. And so we have them on here tonight. And so to participate. And then Trisha Sams is our intern right now. And she goes to the Performance and Visual Arts School in Annapolis. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of you introduce yourself, starting with Khalil, then we'll go to Nessa, and then Vincent.
Okay, so thank you, Angela. And I would like to thank the Angel Wing Project for having me on this roundtable. I'm Khalil Alston, local actor out of Rockville, Maryland. I've been acting since I was 16 years old, really love the craft. And I see it more than just a passion. I see it as an expression of myself.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, Nessa.
Hi, to copy off of Khalil, thank you so much for inviting us for the discussion. It's really nice to have a nice laid back discussion about how we've evolved pre, during, and sort of post-pandemic. What is post-pandemic? I don't know. But my name is Nessa Amherst. I currently reside in Silver Spring, Maryland. I've been acting professionally for the past 5 years. This is my 5th year as a professional actress. And I've got the acting bug back when I was in 6th grade, when I was in the children's chorus of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and the idea and feelings of freedom and expressing myself the way that that show does just really spoke to me. And from there, I just said, this is what I want to do. And I haven't looked back since. And in case people are wondering why I have sunglasses on, I unfortunately suffered a very bad allergic reaction to proactive sensitive skincare. And thankfully, I'm doing a little bit better. I'm taking medication, but my eyes are very swollen. So rather than scare you all away with my puffy eyes, I'm going to keep my sunglasses on, but I still am very happy to be here.
Thank you. Glad that you came anyway. Okay, so who did I say next?
Hi, I'm Vincent Stovall, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Angela, for inviting me. I've been acting professionally for the past 3.5 years. I was working in higher education for many, many years, and I started taking acting classes at the Studio Acting Conservatory and finished the curriculum and started auditioning and started getting work, and lots of really good work. I'm also a special events planner, and I've planned lots of concerts and I've done lots of productions. I've been on the producing side, but decided to get on the other side and start acting. And I am having a ball. It's just been great being on this side.
Glad to have you. So we'll do Reginald and Reggie and Crystal.
Reginald is fine.
Okay, okay.
So I'm appreciative to have this opportunity to share Reginald Baskerville, film, television, and voice, and sometimes theater, if I really want to challenge myself. Started acting in college at Morgan State, go Bears, and have never stopped. It is definitely a way to edify my spirit, to stay with my creative juices sort of to flow and keep me happy. So I appreciate being here just to share with this team of professionals.
Thank you and welcome, and we'll go to Crystal.
Hey everybody, my name is Crystal Kelly. Okay, I heard what Reginald said, but I'm an alma mater. My alma mater is Norfolk State University. Behold, the green and gold. Okay, okay. So I am a person that is somebody who is on the path of saying that she's a best-selling author. I like to speak life into myself. I'm a poet, an artist. Like Angela mentioned, I love to paint. And I'm really happy to be here with all of you.
Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and get into these questions after all of this. And I'm going to actually let Trisha read off the question. So Trisha, if you're ready, we can just go ahead with the question and keep an eye on the hands that go up, and we can move forward. So.
All right, the first question is, how did the pandemic affect your art or your ability to work as an artist? Reginald?
So I'm going to say the one thing that has been kind of annoying is when you get booked for television or film, there's this whole COVID testing process. So whereas you would have normally just been given, a call sheet with a call time and a data report and, whatever your time to rehearse. But now, when you get booked, it's like, okay, if you are reporting the set on Friday, you got to test on Monday before you're fitting. You got to test on Wednesday, and then maybe you may mess around and get to set and have to test again before you're actually released onto set to actually do the performance. So, I mean, I understand keeping everybody safe, but that process, whew.
Vincent? You're muted.
Yeah, I was going to say, prior to the pandemic, I was looking forward to filming an independent movie in Miami and working on several other projects that had been lined up. But of course, everything came to an abrupt halt. I also work as a standardized patient for a few universities in the area. And I've also done some training videos. Fortunately, they found a way to proceed through Zoom. So that has changed, and it has kept me working, but it's a whole different way of working through Zoom. So I think a lot of people are experiencing Zoom fatigue, and I'm looking forward to returning. And as Reggie said, the protocols are just unbelievable. With all of the COVID testing, several days before and the day of, it's challenging, but I'm grateful.
I think Khalil's hand went down, but you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So it really gave me time to reflect. And what I mean by that is I had to ask myself, what do I really want to achieve as an actor? And I look back at all of the projects that I've done, and I said, I really don't want to act anymore. What I mean by that is acting is hard. You'll get a lot of acting instructors telling you have to do it this way. You have this method, you have that method. But I found out during the pandemic, I had all this time on my hand. If you allow the character to become you, you don't have to act. You can just step aside, you can let go of your ego and let the character become you. It's a lot easier. You have to get into the groove of doing it. I'm not going to say it's easy to do it, but it can be done. It's almost like becoming possessed. And I've been really working on that during this time, this downtime. So really, it really worked in my favor, to tell you the truth. I've been doing different methods of my own. I call that the method of possession.
Okay. Being possessed. I've seen and heard actors talk about how they prepare for and how they will dress and everything like this character that they're going to play or portray. And, losing weight and starving themselves, or if they have to play a drug addict, watching people take drugs. And
it's good that you brought that up, Angela. I'm gonna piggyback off that because there's a saying in the business, this, have to get into character. Okay, if you get into character, you're gonna have to act. You just got into character. You have to work now. So if you go the opposite way, let the character become you, you don't have to act. You understand?
I understand your method. I understand your method. Anybody else about how this has affected your ability to work or not? Yeah. Okay. So Trisha, we can move on to the next question.
What type of emotional response have you had to current events such as the pandemic, social unrest, political strife that has affected your ability, affected you artistically? Crystal?
When the pandemic started, I'm not gonna lie about it, I was happy that everything was locked down because I don't like people. But when I say that, it gave me time to do a lot of introspection as an artist. It made me see myself not even as a three-dimensional person. You have to delve deep into who you are as a creative because you're not just who you say you are. I broke a lot of my own rules with writing, painting, acting even. And it really pushed me to say, wow, okay, this is how deep I can go. But with social unrest, I was tired. You get tired of saying, I'm an artist, when in fact, I'm Black first. And I have to figure out, why is it hard for me to have a place here? If I can make a place as an artist, actor, writer, why is it hard for me to have a place as an African-American woman? Why do I got to go out the door and be afraid? I can wear the hat and artist and say, oh, I'm not afraid, but, oh, sorry, it's a whole thunderstorm going on. But it's scary. It depends on what hat I wear that tells me, oh, okay, I don't have to be afraid. Oh, I have to be afraid today. Now I got to stay in the house because of COVID. No, I'm going to stay in the house because I got to work. No, I don't want to go out because I don't want to get hurt because of how I look. As an artist, especially an artist of color, you have to realize, okay, what hat do I have to wear? And I don't really feel comfortable with that. But as a creative, you just have to turn that trauma into something that you love. But how far are you willing to go to do that when you can't even step outside and be seen as a human being first?
Reginald, you raised your hand.
So I would just say that with everything that's going on, what it made me feel or think is that there's going to be a lot of stories to tell.
Mm.
So Khalil, I think that's, yeah. So the hands aren't staying up, but we noted it, so.
Yeah, and this question here, when I saw, this question was a very relevant question because there's two responses to this question. First, I was very frustrated when I saw the social unrest, and I'm not gonna bash anybody's opinion about the pandemic and about C-19. It's, everyone has their opinion, whether if it's real or, I'm not gonna get into that, but we have to start trusting each other, trusting our government, and everyone has to pull in to do their job or we're not gonna move forward. And that's frustrating that, you know, we're seeing that all these things are being put to a halt. It's like, wear the mask, get vaccinated, just play your part. Because this is not the first time we've been in this situation. As I recall, we had another global crisis, if we look back at history, called the Great Depression, which wasn't on a level of a pandemic, but it was on a level of a social and economic crisis. And we saw the same effects, but government stepped in for the good of even the performing arts industry with Roosevelt's programs and bailed the theaters out. And that gave rise to the Black theaters and what we call the Harlem Renaissance. So if we just stick to it, stay strong during this thing and come together as humans, decent human beings. I mean, we see the numbers going up. Right before this round table, I got a text, breaking news. The numbers are rising again. You know, wear the mask. I went to Home Depot the other day to get something for my lawn. It's like me and 3 other people are the only ones wearing a mask. I mean, it's not that hard. So I was frustrated, but I do have faith in humanity that we'll come along, because I mean, there's similarities. We've been through this before.
So have you all, any of you, been able to use what's going on? Have you been able to express, because a lot of it is internalized because things are happening so fast. Have you been able to use art as, you know, a way to kind of let it out or, you know, express yourself? I saw Vincent's.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting after that insurrection on January 6th, and, you know, with people denying that it actually happened, and the perspective on what had happened. And when we were basically encouraged to not believe what we were seeing or hearing, I wrote a poem about it, and it was called Seesaw. And so through this whole pandemic, I started creating videos, and I recorded it and I posted it on my Instagram page, and got great response. But I felt like I had to get it out of my system, and I had to share my thoughts with others. And so, you know, I think for me, being an artist and being Black and being a human, they're all intertwined. I cannot separate them out. I think I was born to be creative. And so I can't separate them out. It's been in me since I can remember to be creative and to be an artist. And so I can't separate them. And so I have to respond to things that are happening in my environment.
Yeah.
Nicole, go ahead.
So besides being the artistic director at the Art Center and trying to continue running an art center during the shutdown was challenging itself. But I'm also a professional photographer who shoots a lot of concerts, models, weddings, and of course, during the shutdown, I didn't have those resources to go to. And I had to pivot myself and find other ways to create art. And I got into a whole visual art side of me, paintings and drawings, and just a whole stream of different styles of art, because I couldn't do my everyday art. And also with the art center, is we had to pivot and become so many different ways just to continue programming and get smart. And, you know, I just want to say that during the pandemic, well, we're still in it, is that art has been the one thing that has kept people going. And especially, I will say for me, that's one thing that has kept me going the whole time. And it sounds like everyone else is kind of on the same page, where it's just so important. But also, I would say, piggyback off that, is that a lot of people think that art is just a hobby. And when things were shut down and art can still continued, especially we'll say concerts, live music on TV, it brought people, opened up more how the art is important and not just a hobby. This is our business, our lives, you know, our everyday, who we are. And it's finally, I feel, shining a light to it. Does anyone feel that as well?
Go ahead, Khalil.
Yeah, I would like to just piggyback off of Nicole and just say that there's an expression that art or life imitates art, which is true. And we have a responsibility as artists to put out truthful art. And art itself can change and shape our environment and our communities. And that's why it's so important that we bring a truthful perspective of our artists or the craft itself, so that we can help change these times for the better. And we have that responsibility and we have that power.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know with just watching how a lot of things that you see each year, like certain shows on television that you know, like award shows come to mind, and how people had to adjust to putting on those shows and seeing entertainers not come together in one place, but they're doing their thing here and they're in this city and that country and all of that. But gosh, you don't know how much you miss things until they're not there. And so like everybody is saying, I think people's appreciation, and people who go to plays all the time, I mean, I can't imagine like when Broadway was like she was shutting it all the way down. I was like, how are people going to manage that? But hopefully we're opening back up. So Trisha, I think we're ready for the next question.
All right. Have you discovered anything new or different about yourself as an artist after experiencing the pandemic or other issues, social issues?
Okay, Nessa.
One thing that I really discovered as an artist and as a person is how valuable being an artist is to society. And the best example I can give is I actually created my own website during this pandemic. And people would think that after certain years, I pretty much started out in community theater and didn't quite have enough professional credits, but people were saying, no, as long as you have a resume, you can create your website. So I created a little website through Wix. And during this whole time, as I was getting more and more credits, I was also discovering how impactful my talent and also my skills are. And one thing that I think sets me apart from other websites is that I write a bi-weekly blog, and it can be on certain things, it can be on other things. But the one thing that I really love to do is go by 3 rules in my blog, which is be kind, be transparent, and be sincere. And I do it pretty much all the time in my blogs. And if there was a social issue going on that wasn't going on that week, I would make time to just say a quick blog and try my best to be kind, be transparent, and be sincere, and just lay it all out there. And because I firmly believe that as an artist and as a person, we all have a voice to share. And I'm not sure how big my audience will be right now or in the future, but the fact that I have an outlet of writing my feelings, my observations, my reflections down, just to let it out there and to get it out of my system in a way that hopefully reaches others, that's enough for me. And that's one thing I realized, how truly valuable the arts are.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I discovered that patience is very important. I like to set goals. And during this pandemic, the time that we were parked, it kind of helped me understand that, the journey is just as important as meeting the goal.
Absolutely.
So even though we set goals and we try to achieve them, you have to be able to appreciate all of the steps that you take, all of the minutes that you spend in between setting the goal and trying to achieve it or achieving it. All of that stuff in between is just as important as achieving the goal.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So I think we can move to the, Vincent.
One thing that I was going to say is, I learned a lot about myself. I've learned to make bold choices. I find that I'm very eager now. I just cannot wait to perform and to continue writing and to experiment and explore. But I also realized that my faith has become stronger. There was a time when I would wonder, when everything was going to end. If I had a job, it's like, okay, was that the last one? Is that my last time to perform?
Right.
And it happened a few times, but I don't go down that path anymore because I know God's got me, and God is in the driver's seat and I'm just a passenger. And if there's something that you want, you have to realize that you do have God-given talent, and you have to pursue it. You have to work on it. You have to trust. And when you pray about something, you have to understand that you have to participate in the prayer. God gives you an assignment when you pray. And in this business, you have to do the work. And you have to hustle, and you have to learn, and you have to grow, and you have to be open to critique, and recognize blessings when they don't look like it. The pandemic was a blessing, in many respects, and a lot of people realize it now that it was a blessing.
Mm-hmm. So, Susan or Vivian, do you all have any thoughts about anything that we've said so far that you would like to share? Susan or Vivian? I just wanted to give you an opportunity.
I've been sitting here and wondering about what I'm getting ready to talk about. And it has to do with the pandemic and at the beginning. And my connection with theater. I had at the beginning, as I said, of the pandemic, and things were very different then. We've become, over this year, we've become used to it, and we've learned how to adjust. But this was back in the early days when it was just all fresh. I had an opportunity, possibly with an institution, to do some work on a play with a small group of students who were planning on putting on a show of student written scripts. And first of all, I had the opportunity to read through all the scripts and find out, you know, about students and student writing plays. And that was interesting. But then when it came time to actually get into production, there was the problem of not being able to connect and get together with one another and work. And I discovered that I belong to another century. I'm very hands-on. You know, I'm very person to person. I love working with actors very closely and as often as I can on a one-on-one basis. And of course, this was when pandemic was new and there was no connecting. And so it was arranged that everything that needed to be done could be done in a space with mechanical stuff. And there was no need for me and my services. I couldn't get together individually with the actors and do what I best enjoy doing. And so I don't know if I learned, I guess that's what I learned during the pandemic is I belong to another century.
Well, I mean, you're personable and you like to be around people, and
Notice that.
And then you're the way you think about it is, so we all had to like think about it in a totally different way, you know, because used to talking and can't touch each other, can't do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's tough. Go ahead, Trisha, to the next question.
Are there any new forms of media that you have picked up during COVID-19? Will it be something that you incorporate going forward? Khalil?
Yeah, I think I speak for all of us when I say we're all going to start incorporating Zoom. I mean, because before the pandemic, you guys might laugh at me, but I didn't know what Zoom was. And now we're doing auditions through Zoom, acting workshops through Zoom, acting classes. So yes, I'm going to be I mean, my basement has turned into my wife is getting frustrated because my basement is a studio now. So Zoom, I think the future is going to be Zoom.
Too bad.
I wish I had invented Zoom.
Crystal?
I agree with Khalil heavily. I knew what Zoom was, but it has played a really huge part of my life. Another form of media would be TikTok. I'm so tired of hearing about it, but the dances and all of that stuff, you will not see in the videos of me doing that. Let me just tell you that right now. But I have learned to edit, make videos in there. I have a lot of friends that are utilizing it and really making money off of it. I'm not jealous, but dang. I have to say, if you really do take yourself serious as an artist, please take the social media platform serious, because video is the future, because the pandemic has truly shifted so many things. You can't just go up to anybody anymore. You got to be masked up, or you got to just do it through here now. So it's really, you're cheating yourself, like I said, if you're not taking advantage, because video is convenient, but it also gets you in front of way more eyes than you've ever been able to be in before. So as far as workshops are concerned, sessions like this, take advantage, because you don't know if we'll ever have this again. Because I would hate for all of us to say, dang, I wish I would have done that. You got to move on your feet nowadays, because the pandemic has shown us that time is limited and what you do with it matters. So don't be foolish, be creative, get yourself out there, because there are a lot more people with half of your confidence and half of your talent, and they're killing the game right now.
Yep.
So step it up or don't.
Facts.
Vincent, I think you were.
Yeah, I used to consider myself a technological moron. Um, I would tell someone, just do it. Don't teach me how to fish, just fish for me. But, with my new laptop, I discovered video editor. I discovered special effects, and I discovered I could make videos with my telephone. And I have had a ball. And I've been making these little videos and posting them on my Instagram page and shocking myself every single time. And people have been giving me positive feedback. And I've taken those skills and I've incorporated them in my self-tape auditions too. I make sure that my self-tape auditions look very professional. I have the title card in the beginning and, a title card at the end. And I've figured out how to edit. When I used to see people editing and they take those little lines and they cut, and it just blew my mind. I didn't know what they were doing, but now I know how to do it. So it's a blast. And I encourage everyone not to be afraid of technology. Just get in there and learn it and use it to your benefit.
One of the first things I had to run out and do was get my light. Those, like, okay, I got to do this right. But yeah, that was one of the first things. Anybody else with this particular question? I think we all, Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, like all of that, all of it. All kinds of videos and stuff.
I saw Nicole raise her hand earlier.
I was just gonna say, is anyone in like an instructor where they had to teach via Zoom or Google? Because I know that was a huge challenge to, as artists and being an instructor as well. I was just curious. I have not. Everyone kept asking if I was gonna try to do lessons via, and I just could not do that loop. I could not jump and teach. I am on at least probably 4 or 5 different Zoom meetings a day. However, I could not teach. I was just wondering if anyone did.
Yeah, I do that despite what I told you, about this other actual theater incident. I teach and I've taught Zoom classes all during the pandemic. I have a class of senior citizens that I teach African American literature. And the college, I work for Anne Arundel Community College. The college taught me how to do Zoom and how to teach the class through Zoom. And I bared with it. And my students did as well. And we were very successful. It works very well for that. With me, it works with me very well for that because it's just I'm there and we're conversing and I'm telling them something and they're telling one another, and that's good. And we got so used to it. The class got so used to it that we have the class 3 semesters of a 4 semester year. And during the summer, last summer, they decided that they really loved just being together so much that they were going to keep going, even though we were stopping for the summer break. And so they kept Zooming. So we all kept Zooming and just chatting and this and that until we were able to get back together as a class. And we're doing it again this summer. So, yeah, I've been drug in to a certain extent.
Okay. Yeah, I've taught. I find it difficult. I also teach for the college too. I do leadership courses, and it's hard because people want, some people turn off their cameras and a lot of different things like that, and so it's just not as engaging. But we use the breakout rooms and we do a lot of stuff. But it's not my favorite, but it works. So, all right, let's go to the next one. We might get through these. Right. 5.
How did you take risks or try something totally new and different? Susan?
I think one of the things that I took a risk on is I also work in higher education here. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, so I'm virtual as well as you all are more concentrated in one area. But I worked for the university here as well. So when we shut down and went virtual, we were all working remotely. And one of the things the pandemic taught me was having multiple streams of income, that you shouldn't just rely on one particular income, because you don't know like what could happen. So I started as I was going through my job and doing my job remotely. I'm an assistant to the vice president, and the things I was doing for him remotely, I was like, I could do this for other people as well, and so get a little side gig as well, and do it for myself. And so that's when I had seen the Angel Wing ad, and they were looking for an administrative assistant virtually. And so Angie and I are related. So I just kind of reached out to her and said, hey, I'm starting this on the side. And so that was the risk that I took. So in February I think January or February of 2021 is when we started. So that was kind of a risk that I took, being a virtual administrative assistant and connecting that way, and doing things virtually for someone else on the side for me, as well as in my full time.
Yeah, I left my job, my full-time job. That was a risk. I went through a whole year of, I got coaching. I did a personal coach. What do you call them? Personal coach. I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Life coach.
Life coach.
Yeah, life coach. Thank you. I went through a whole year of working with a life coach to get me ready to leave my career that I have been in for 23 years. And, very comfortable, making very good money, doing my thing. But I wanted to be happy. And I wanted to do what I really felt more called to do. And so, and I wanted to put more of my heart into the Angel Wing project, because I was doing it. I was like killing myself doing it and working full time and trying to run a whole thing. And so because I took that risk, of course, Susan jumped in and jumped on board, but there's been a lot of other people that I've met and just the way things are coming together. So I would just say, I had coaching, because it was like, I was very comfortable doing my, having what I'm used to having, or doing what I'm used to doing, but at the same time, I wasn't happy. And that was more important to me, but I had to still work towards that and also prepare myself. But yeah, I would say, being an artist, you have to take risks. And sometimes even when people say no, or you're judged, obviously it's a very vulnerable position to be in when you're an artist and you're putting yourself out there for people to judge. But don't be afraid, like still be unafraid, still believe that voice inside your head that's telling you, you got this, you can do this. And if you don't get this thing, keep it moving to the next, because you're going to be fine. You're going to get what you want. You can't give up, and you can't be afraid. And it was a risk, and I was afraid at first, and then I just started looking forward to it, and I just couldn't wait to do it. And I have been, great things have been happening, and I have been just way happier, like way happier. I don't know what took me so long to do it. So, Khalil, you're trying to raise your hand?
Yes, ma'am. So this is sort of like a disclaimer from what I said earlier, but I have to be honest. I'm guilty of being sort of I wouldn't say an all-out conspiracy theorist, but when it comes to vaccinations, I was a little weary of the vaccines at the beginning because of so many stories of the Tuskegee Airmen and other stories. So, but after educating myself on these vaccines and wanting to do the right thing for society, I went ahead, and this is not a risk, but it's something different on my part. So I went on ahead and got fully vaccinated. And that's something that I pat myself on the back for, because usually I would have never agreed to get the vaccine. If anyone who really knows me, what, Khalil, you got what? So that's something new. It really is new for me.
Okay,
I know it's something that we're supposed to do, but it's
no, I totally get what you're saying. That if it's totally not you, and you normally would be totally against it, and it just goes against the grain, but you did it, and I appreciate it, and I thank you. So has your guys' perception of working with others changed? And I just mean working in spaces with others. Like has that changed? Are you more standoffish? Are you more, I mean, when you're around people, I mean, how has that changed? Do you, for instance, myself, I don't even like to go grocery shopping. I go at certain hours because I don't want to be around a lot of people. So that's what I mean. Like, how has that changed, just being with people around for you? So Vincent?
Yeah, I've always been observant of people and their habits, but a lot of people are just nasty, and and like buffets, Whole Foods will have buffets. Like, oh, I don't know, but the good thing about that is that they make you use hand sanitizer and gloves, so I felt better about that. When I'm at the gym, you're supposed to wipe down everything and spray everything. And I've seen some people, they don't clean up after themselves or before they get on equipment, but I'm constantly spraying and wiping um, and I don't like for people to get too close to me, and I don't want anybody coughing or sneezing around me. I have not been on a plane or a bus or public transportation. I don't know when I'll do that, but I'm real skeptical about those kinds of things. So I drive by myself and with my family, but I have the windows down.
So when you're on set with people, are you uncomfortable or?
Yeah, I'm more comfortable because they have people there to manage everything. And if you don't have a mask on, um, they tell you, get the mask on. There are people who are wiping down common areas constantly. There's hand sanitizers all over the place. And there have been some SAG projects I've worked on. SAG really is not playing because, as someone has said earlier, you have to get COVID tested before you go in for your fitting, COVID tested before you report to the set. They have rapid testing going on, and they have these monitors all around to make sure that your mask is on if you're not speaking. So I feel much more comfortable and safe. And now they're requiring everybody to be COVID tested and to produce your COVID vaccination record card before you even are considered. So I feel better about that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for some of you guys. How did you, in terms of working with people in this situation, how did you feel working with the cast and getting what we did together?
Okay. The reading.
Yeah, the readings, and you were working together, and everybody looked comfortable while they were there together. And I know I was feeling comfortable. I don't know why, It was the first time I'd been around that many people that I didn't know, but it was just nice for me. How was it for you?
Well, the Chesapeake Arts Center requires masks. So when you come in, we had to have masks on until it was time to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. Khalil, I see your hand in the call. I thought I saw yours too.
Yeah. So just to answer Vivian's question, with piggybacking off of Vincent, I think that's why we have government. Government is they're making it so that you really have to get tested right now, because they're not going to allow you back in these workplaces. They're not going to allow you back in these buildings without being fully vaccinated. That's where we're at right now, because we're seeing the numbers are going up because people won't get vaccinated. But around the settings of working around people, I feel comfortable because I know that we are all professional actors, and at some point, these guys like me have gotten vaccinated and taken COVID tests. And I know this because they're not going to let you on the set without doing it. So in public, I think there's a sense of COVID phobia.
Yeah.
Can I say that? So like if I'm at the grocery store and someone, I'm doing this, it's like real. So it's a different from public and then where we work and we perform. Should I say that? So it's like the comfortability is because I know everyone has gone through what I've gone through, because you wouldn't be acting.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the projects that I've been on is like you have to take a COVID test 3 days prior. Then you're like, well, I'm fully vaccinated. Like you still have to take a COVID test because you could be a carrier. So.
Yeah, I think in general, for me at the Arts Center, we're still around a lot of children. And I also have 2 little girls who are not of the age to get vaccinated yet. And I have to explain to them why mommy still wears a mask, even though I'm vaccinated. And I'll do that until the end, because I feel that there's just so many, it's not even about me, it's about the ones that I care about and the people around who aren't. And I actually, today I got a phone call that a family friend of ours passed away from COVID, and he was not vaccinated. And I have, it's a conversation I fight every day with family and friends who you just want them to be safe and understand. And for some reason, it's still divided for that. And I don't, unfortunately, trust as many people that I'm around just yet, because of seeing just the reaction of some people saying that, they don't care to be vaccinated or wear a mask. Is that until numbers are completely low, I think I will continue just to be distant, be safe. And at the Arts Center, we just really encourage as well, and just try to protect everyone that I love.
Mm-hmm. Nessa, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I do. The thing that I've discovered most definitely in recent times is that whenever I'm around my friends from church or from theater communities, you feel a sense of longing after being away for so many months on a screen. And of course, the one thing that I find myself asking, as well as everybody else is asking, I'm a hugger, can I give you a hug? And you have to know whether or not they're vaccinated in order to give hugs. And luckily for me so far, everyone that I know has been vaccinated and I can hug them. But when I'm around strangers that I don't know, even if they're very nice, I still have to social distance or even wear a mask just to protect myself, because of that lingering fear of, I might bring this home to my mom. And the last thing I want to be is responsible for getting myself or her sick. And the one thing that I feel comforted about in theater is that they're making it mandatory for everyone to be vaccinated or show proof of a negative COVID test. Because we miss doing this in person. And the fact that for so many years, the idea of someone coming in with a bad head cold or something sick that can easily spread, I think that might have to go out the window from now on because of how easily COVID can spread. I mean, the littlest things like a sneeze or a cough or a cold that people can fight through during rehearsals leading up to a show, I'm not sure if that's going to be allowed now after what we've been through. And I personally would rather feel safe knowing that if you're sick, if you have something wrong, stay home, protect yourself, don't risk getting others sick.
Right. So I think that we're going to go to our last question just for the sake of time. And I really appreciate everybody's time and everybody's comments. So Trisha, I think we're ready for our last question.
Okay. What about being an artist can you say you appreciate more after going through COVID-19? Reginald?
So with so much death over the time, I really appreciate the fact that film, television, and voice, if I can say this, it immortalizes you after you participate in a project. Because if you're not here anymore and you transition to the upper room, right, you still have those projects that family, friends, and all of your associates can pull and say, hey, you remember Reginald? Remember he was in such and such? Oh, well, let's watch this real quick. And they get that little piece of you that still exists in that project.
Wow. I think that I just appreciate more just life in general. I had a brother pass away. He had gotten COVID, and then he didn't have COVID, but he never fully recovered never was able to recover because he had other pre-existing conditions. And so I think after that, just thinking about every day, like just take advantage of every day and don't take things for granted. And don't take the art for granted. Don't take anything for granted, and don't take people for granted, because you don't know what the future holds. And so do what makes you happy and what you're passionate about, what God gave you to give to the world. Do that, and be happy and enjoy yourself. And so I think that was really something for me, because I know there was things that he wanted to do and we planned to do that he'll never get to do. And so I'm like, I'm trying to do everything that I know that, I'm really supposed to be doing. You can go ahead, Khalil.
Okay, thank you. I probably would have to say that I feel like I appreciate the fact that COVID was a mirror to this nation and to the world, because this was a worldwide pandemic. So it was just not this nation. And it was a mirror, and it showed us the ugliness in society, because we had so much ugliness during a pandemic. I think Vincent brought it up. I mean, who rushes the Capitol during a pandemic? I mean, the racial tensions during a pandemic, social inequality during a pandemic. So it's like, I think we're going to come out stronger than ever before. And I appreciate COVID for bringing all of this to the plate, because this was like hush hush stuff that we didn't want to talk about. So COVID now forced us to put it on the table and let's discuss it. That's what COVID did. We have to have a fruitful conversation about these things if we're going to move forward as a nation and as a planet.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nessa. Oh, Nessa, then Vincent.
If there's one thing that I hope all of us can learn is just how valuable the arts are. They are so much more than just entertainment, just to help you with your feelings or lounge time or even binge watching. You've seen how detrimental the arts have suffered because of this pandemic, because so many people were unable to work during this time. I hope that people realize how truly important the arts are, because for all of these people who binge watch, listen to music, listen to podcasts, and everything in between, can see just how much they've gotten through this pandemic. Try not having any of that at all in your day-to-day life. Don't try to read a book. Don't try to read a newspaper. Don't try to listen to music. Don't try to watch a, dare I say it, illegal bootleg of a theatrical show. Try not doing any of that for 24 hours and see how you go about your day, because I can guarantee you, you will go nuts without it. And hopefully for myself included, we can see just how much of a difference the arts have made on all of us. And it's definitely taught me to keep moving forward as both an artist and a person to new heights and to new opportunities without fear, with lots of faith and with lots of support, with the right people who can lift you up and know how to help you. And also when you come into the room, smile, because you've made an impact on their life. And I don't know how I would have been had I not been so invested in my craft during this time. I mean, now I'm applying for Actors Equity through the open membership program because of all of these opportunities that I've been blessed with this past year. And the fact that the arts have helped me and all these opportunities, it just goes to show how truly valuable the arts are. And hopefully from this point on, we can realize just how much of a difference it is. And it is just more than entertainment.
Well said. Vincent?
Yeah, just to piggyback on what's been said, I have a heightened respect for the arts, and as an artist, I have more of an appreciation for my talent, and I really feel even more so a sense of responsibility to provide honest work on the stage, because people look to the arts to escape, to learn, to grow, to be motivated. And if you're going to be on a stage or on film, people are looking to you to take them somewhere. I do not want to waste anyone's time. I realize that I must do the work. I must be committed to performing truth. And so I take it seriously. I don't take it lightly. I respect it. I am grateful for the opportunities that come my way. I am very grateful for what God has placed on me. It's part of who I am. I am an artist. And so I take it seriously and don't take it for granted. And if I'm performing something, I'm searching for truth and to help people to escape, to learn, and to grow.
I think someone said it well in another discussion we had, but they said, you know, the arts help people express things that they wouldn't normally be able to just express in a conversation, but they may be able to express it through a song or a picture or in a drama or in an instrument, you know, or in a painting, where you'll get the message, because art transcends just language. I mean, it reaches the heart. And so that's what we want. That's what we want to be. That's what we want to do. And so I definitely appreciate what everybody has said. because it, as you can see, and I think everybody has shown how passionate artists we are about what we're doing and how much it means to us, but we understand also how much it means to other people. And so we're committed to being that light in the world, I guess, you know, in where we see so much darkness, and being able to be a light and give people hope. So it is important. And so I thank you. This we've been going through some tough stuff, but I see that you guys are tough, and you know, like, I'm gonna do it regardless of what I have to go through to get it done. So that's amazing. So does anybody have any closing thoughts? Because we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Does anybody have any last thing to say? Vincent, I see you and Nicole.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to share with you, you know, as artists, again, be honest with whatever it is that you're doing and don't worry about people liking you. I saw a quote by Denzel Washington this week that I thought was priceless. And it says he says something like, there are some people who will never like you because your spirit irritates their demons.
Before, yeah.
Wow. I just wanted to say thank you guys for being a part of this. I apologize, I was late. But you guys are all amazing, and I am excited to work with you guys in the future. And thank you, Angela, for always including CC and me and part of this. Keep doing what you guys do. It's amazing.
Yes, and so just a shameless plug, October 23rd and 24th, come see Clay's Place at the Chesapeake Arts Center and come see some of our amazing actors. And yeah, keep supporting us, and we'll keep trying to do great art for everyone. So thank you all. Thank you for whoever's watching, and thank you all for participating. And I'm going to say good night, so you can just